Today I want to talk about food cravings, because food cravings for some people may be out of control. There's several reasons why we have food cravings. The first one I want to talk to you about is when you have a nutrient deficiency. So in the animal industry, when an animal has a nutrient deficiency, they'll start eating fence posts and rocks and rubber and sand, and the farmer knows that they're missing nutrients, so they throw a salt block out and the animal licks the salt block, gets the minerals it needs, and then it stops doing this thing called cribbing, which is eating those fence posts and rocks. In the human world, when we have that need for nutrients, we're not that silly. We don't eat rocks and fence posts, we just eat chocolates and chips, or we'll eat anything that's in sight in order to make sure that we get those nutrients. But those are empty calories and they don't have those nutrients. So number one, yeah, you could get yourself a salt block, or you could get yourself some Changing Habits colloidal minerals, or get yourself some seaweed salt and start getting the minerals back into your body. So that's one way that we can look at why we have cravings. Another reason we may have cravings is that we have been eating way too many carbohydrates and not enough fat and not enough protein. So, you know, what they call the SAD diet, the Standard Australian Diet, is all about consuming high carbohydrate and low fat. What this does is it sets up the body that it needs to be a sugar burner rather than a fat burner. So a sugar burner is somebody that uses up all the sugar that you have eaten or produced or stored, and then it asks you for more food. And so we look for more sugar. So you might have breakfast cereal in the morning. That's a sugar and a carbohydrate. By 10:30, you're looking for a muffin. At lunchtime, like it might be midday, you're looking for more food and you might have a sandwich. And then at afternoon tea, you might look for a cookie or a biscuit. And then at dinner, you might have some pasta. So you're perpetuating the body's need for sugar because it doesn't know how to adapt to using a different food source. And that different food source is fat. And fat is all about ketones. But we'll talk about that in another episode of the YouTube channel. So we've looked at when you have a nutrient deficiency. Now we've looked at when you're using only sugar as your energy. And the third thing I want to talk to you about is when you have too much weight on you and your fat cells are over, say, 5 kilos of your perfect weight, your body produces this hormone called leptin. And leptin has only been known since about 1992. It's the master hormone. This master hormone goes into the brain and says to the brain how much petrol you have or how much fuel you have. So if you have too much fuel, or let's say you have enough fuel, it'll go to the brain and it'll say, look, we've got enough, we don't need to eat, all is good, no need to consume any more food, and you will have satiety. If let's say you do not have enough leptin, your body will say, hey, we don't have enough fuel, we need to eat, and it's a survival mechanism, and it'll ask you to eat food. If you have that over that 5 kilo and you're producing more and more and more and more leptin, what ends up happening is that your body gets this thing called leptin resistance. So it's the same as if you don't have any fat on you whatsoever, and the body goes, you don't have any fuel, you need to eat, and it'll, as a result of survival, it'll ask you to eat more and more and more food. And that's when you think you've got cravings, you've got no willpower, you've got no stopgap. So when we work with the body as this innate intelligence and realize when we feed it the right ingredients, those cravings, those want to eat food, that thing that you think is willpower or non-willpower actually disappears. And you have an absolute satiety, more energy than you've ever had, and your body heals and becomes healthy. Or if you are healthy, increases that health. So understand that cravings and want for food is not always what you think. It may be, number one, a mineral deficiency. Number two, you may have leptin resistance. Or number three, you may not have enough variety in your macronutrients, which is carbohydrates, fats, and proteins. I'll see you in the next video.